Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we're going to put together this little hero section today. What I've actually done is I went over to ChatGPT and I asked it what were the best criteria for building the perfect hero section. And this is what it came up with. Clear and concise headline, compelling headline obviously, engaging visuals, call to action, prominent and well-designed call to action button, navigation menu, obviously there's a menu, minimalist design that is visually appealing and avoids clutter and distractions, branding elements such as logo, colors and consistent visual, responsive design, it's important, social proof such as Facebook, Instagram, etc., and persuasive copy, compelling and concise text. So let's get rid of this. And I've followed most of those here. It's pretty minimalist. We haven't got too many distractions. I have got a little animation going there, but I think that adds to it. We've got our social media right here. We've got some fairly compelling text and we've got a call to action. Really easy to do, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So let's enable the visual builder. Okay, I'm going to go down. I'm going to add a new section, little blue button to add a new section. I'm going to make it a regular section. You can make it full width row if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep mine on the standard. I'm going to put 2 columns in mine. In the first column, I'm going to roll down. I'm simply going to use a text module. I'm just going to save that there. And so we've got no distractions. Let's get rid of this top one. Okay, and inside here, I'm going to put my company name. I'm going to make this a heading 1. Well, I want to make it fairly interesting, so I'm going to roll over it, hit the little blue paintbrush or the white paintbrush on the blue circle there. It'll take you straight to your H1. I'm going to choose a different font today. I'm going to use a font called Anton. So up in the search, I'm going to write Anton. That's great, and I'm going to make it a lot bigger. So if I roll down, I'm going to change the color in a while. Let's make it say 75 pixels. That stands out pretty well. Okay, let's just duplicate that text module for our next one. 2 little squares to duplicate. And I'm going to put web design and hosting in this. So I'm going to go in there. I've got it over here from my previous one. I'll put that in there. I'm going to make that a heading 2. And again, I'm going to go over. I'm going to use Anton for this one too. And I'm also going to make it a bit bigger. Let's make it say 32 pixels big. There we go. Basically, I want it similar sort of width to that above. I could go a little bit bigger probably. I think I like the 32. That's great. A little too far apart. To fix that, I think they've got a bit of margin on the bottom. So I'm going to go into my top one. Dark tab for a module, green for a row, blue for a section. I'm going to go into this one, over to design. I'm going to go down to spacing, margin. I'm going to put a 0 in the bottom. That's better. Looks a lot tighter like that. And underneath there, I'm going to put a little tagline. So again, I'm going to copy this one. But before I copy it, I'm going to go in there and take the margin away from the bottom of this by going over to design and margin bottom. Simply going to put a 0 in there. You won't see any difference at the moment, but when I clone this module again, you'll see it's pretty close. So I'm going to hit clone one more time. And for this one, just going to leave it as a regular font. And I got a little tagline. I'm going to replace what's in there. I'm going to make it regular paragraph text. This time I'm going to leave it as it is. As you can see, it's split into 2. If I delete this, for anybody that doesn't know, if you hit a space, it's going to put a double space in there. Rather, if you hit a return, it'll put a double space in there. So if you just want a single space, you want them close together, hit shift and return, and it'll put them a lot closer together. That's great. Now I want to edit these, and I'm going to make them a little bit bigger too. Let's go down. I'm going to leave them on the default font. Let's make them 22 pixels. And perhaps semi-bold. So just up a bit, font weight. Great, that works for me. Okay, well let's add some social media like it said. So I'm going to add a new module. I'm going to use Divi Social Media Follow. There we go. It puts in by 2 by default. And let's add perhaps Instagram. And obviously go down and put whatever your page link pertaining to whatever icon you're using. When you're happy, hit save. It takes you back to the main one. And let's add LinkedIn or something like that. There we go, LinkedIn. Great, once you've put your links in and everything like that, I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger again, just for a bit of effect, and I'm going to give them a bit of space also above and below. Once back in the main social media follow settings, we're going to go to design, going to go down to icon to make these icons bigger, hit the little use custom icons size. I'm going to leave mine on the colors they are, which is the default. You can go into them individually and make them any colors you want. That works for me. I'm going to make them say 35 pixels. That's a lot better. Great. Well, let's save that and we'll give them a bit of space. This little one above, I need to add a bit of margin on the bottom. I know we took it away before, but if I go back in there, I actually just select that and delete it, it'll go back to the default, and that actually works for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another little tagline under here, and then we'll have a call to action button. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take one of them, doesn't matter which one because they're both identical. I'm going to drop it below my social media icons. As you can see, the default gaps between them both there. I'm just going to change out the text in that one. Great. Now let's add a little call to action. Scroll over, little dark button to add a new module. I'm simply going to use a button. I'm going to say learn more. It's okay, let's go over to our stars a little bit. I'd like it to be the same kind of similar width to everything else that we've got going on here. As you can see, I chose the width of my social media icons to kind of match the space that's being taken up with our text there. So I'm happy with it to be on the left, so I'll leave the alignment. Let's go into the button. I'm going to use custom styles. Text size is fine. I'm going to change it to white. It'll disappear into the white background there. Button background, let's make that blue. Perhaps when we hover over it, on it, and this is common to all Divi modules, if you hover over the dark writing, some little icons will appear. If there's an arrow, click on it. You can set a hover state by clicking on the little arrow there. For the hover state, I'm going to have this blue. I'm just clicking on the field there to get it up. I'm going to have it a bit lighter. That's fine. So when the mouse isn't on it, we've got a dark blue. When it is, we've got a lighter blue there. That's absolutely fine for me. Button border width is fine. Border color, I'm going to make it that same blue, so it'll just be a little thicker. Like I say, I'd like this button to be a bit wider here. And I don't think, do I want an icon? Yeah, let's leave the icon in it, why not? Unfortunately, we can't size this. If I close up the button here and we look, there's no sizing for the actual button itself. So we can do it easily with a couple of lines of custom CSS. So let's go in here to the custom CSS. Let's work on the main element. So to make this button similar width to our text there, I'm going to write width. I think it's probably about 50 or 60% width. colon. Let's try 50%. Not quite enough. Let's try, say, 60%. That's about right. Yeah, that's pretty much in line with everything else here. But I kind of want my text in the middle too. So let's put a semicolon after this. Text dash align colon center. That's great. That's popped it in the middle. Let's put a semicolon there in case we want to add a bit more code later on. Yep, that's looking just like I want it now. Okay, well, let's make the background a little bit more interesting. Let's save our changes here and we'll go into the section. And I'm going to use the same color blue as I've got going on with my logo here. So let's go into the section. I'm going to go down to the background. I'm going to add a background color. I'll just pop it in there. Great. Now if we want to make it even more interesting, we can blend it with an image. Now depending on whether you're going for speed or visual effect, if you're going for speed, I wouldn't blend it with an image. But nowadays, fast internet speeds, it's not too bad. It's not going to slow it down that much. But if your speed's your thing, I'd probably forget putting an image in here. But I'm going to put one in because I want the visual effect. So I'm going to go over the background image. I'm going to add an image. Let's use the same one as I had before. That's a little too bright. It's taking away from everything I've got there. It's kind of a cool image though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll down. I'm going to blend that background color with it. Background image blend. I'm going to use multiply. Perfect. I'm going to change this text so it's all light in color. And they've got some fantastic filters and things here. If you play around with them, you can get some amazing effects. You really can. That's actually quite nice. But I'm going to put mine on multiply. But do have a play, like I say. Great, now we've got that section. Let's make this the way we want it. So basically I'm going to turn this text white. So let's go in there. Again, I'm just going to hit the little paintbrush, take me straight to it. Turn that white, that's fine. This one I'm going to make the light blue of my logo here. So again, I'm just going to click on the cog, paintbrush. I've got my hex code over here. So if we go down to color, click on the color, I'm going to pop my hex code in there. Fantastic. Next one I'm going to make white. Really does make it really easy for you to edit. You could have done this in the first place, but we had no background, so you would have lost any white text on the background there. And finally, we'll pop into this one. Same thing. Great. Okay, well, let's add a little animation to this side like we had before. I'm going to the Lottie files for that. And again, animations are great. I'm doing it for the visual effect, which was one of the features that ChatGPT came back with. Engaging visuals, high quality, relevant images, videos or illustrations. I probably stay away from videos purely for loading time, but these Lottie animations are fairly light. Now if you're going for speed, again, I probably wouldn't use an animation, I'd use an image or something like that. Okay, while we're in here, because I'm only using up this much space, I'm going to actually change the column structure of my row, because at the moment I got two equal columns, as you can see if I hover over right there. So let's go into this little icon in the middle here. And I'm going to change it for this to something more like this. Great. Now I'm going to have to just change the percentage of my button width over here. And while we're in there, let's check it on responsive devices too. So let's go into the custom CSS. We're at 60. Let's try 75 maybe. It's close. Let's try 80%. I think I like this 75 better. Let's call it 77. Love a compromise. That's close enough. Now let's check it on mobile devices. Divi's great because you can do that even when you're in a little coding module like this. I'm going to copy the code we've got here. Control C to copy. Let's hit the little mobile phone icon. We'll take a look at it on a tablet. And these are only rough guides, remember. It's always good or pretty essential actually, after you launch, check it on the real devices because you may have to adjust a little bit. Okay, that code's a bit too much there. Let's try 50. I think 50 is going to work fine. Let's have a look on a cell phone. Might want to take that text down there. Might want to make this text centered on this particular one. So again, I think I can probably go 100% on this. We'll try it. Paste that in there. And yeah, it's 77, so let's try 100. Yeah, all the way, that's absolutely fine. I think I might take that text down and center align all of this text on mobile. So let's save this. And we'll go into each one. Again, simply go to the text, roll down, and there it is. Hit the mobile phone icon. Now center that. We'll do the same thing. Let's just flip it to mobile version. Hit the little purple button. I've got a mobile here. Let's edit this next one. Should take us straight to it on the mobile version. This, yeah, that's on the mobile. Great, we'll center that one. Similar for the next one. Just double check we're on the mobile. Yep. Excellent. And finally, this one, I guess we'll do it with those modules too. Let's do it with the modules because I had them left aligned originally. Design, alignment. Make sure we're on mobile, which we should be. Yep, great. And finally, this one, and we're good to go. We know we're on mobile. Let's just pop him over. Fantastic. Great, now we're done. We'll save this, we'll go back to our desktop version and get our animation. Okay, to do this, I'm going to go over the Lottie files. I'll put this down below, this little URL. It's absolutely free. You could sign up with an email address or a Google account. In the search up here, I'm going to put websites and hit enter. That's great. Price, I'm going to use the free ones. We'll have a little look through. There's the one I used before. I believe I'll get that one again. I'm simply going to left click on it. Now I want the HTML for this so we can build it into a code module. So there's the HTML right there. I'm going to click on that. I want mine a lot bigger. I'm going to make mine say, let's make it 800. We can always change it later. You won't see much change here. I don't want to show the controls, and as you can see we've got a big gap here, so I'm going to cut that off somehow. So I'm going to uncheck the controls. I do want it to autoplay and loop. Normal speed. I'd like to slow it down. I guess we can do that within the HTML code too. So here's our code. Let's copy the code, little button right here. We'll go back to our site. So let's add a code module. There we are. And inside I can paste that code. And don't panic if you don't see it. You will actually see it as soon as you save your changes and exit the Visual Builder. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a colored background in the column so you can see exactly what our animation is taking up on the front end. So let's go into our row. That would be column 2. I'm going to go down to background. I'm going to give it a simple blue background color. It's going to show there. Let's give it some rounded corners in the design border. I'm going to say 50 pixels. As long as you got that checked, it'll do all at once. When we've got our animation in there, those will be sort of nice little corners. Just to show you, let's go save our changes here. Go down the bottom. If it's not open already, click on the purple button and save the page changes or save draft and publish. Once saved, we can exit the Visual Builder. And there's our animation, and it's taking way too much space up. So I need to take it up a bit. I want to slow the animation down some. I may take it slightly down in size. It looks like that lady's getting her leg cut off over there. And we want to make it a lot shorter, obviously. So let's do that. Let's enable the visual builder and we can get that done. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to give this row a fixed height. So it cuts off at a certain level. Okay, well let's go into our code module, and occasionally you can't see a code module because there's nothing there really. We can go to backend, go down to the little purple button, down to wireframe mode. That'll take us to the back. Get into your code module that way. And let's look at this code. I'm going to edit a few things here. Here's the style, the width and the height. I'm going to take that down by 100 pixels to maybe 7 and 7. That's what I meant earlier, when you can adjust it if you want to. And here's the speed of 1. I'm going to take that to 0.5, or 0.5 would probably do it. Great. Now I want to give this a fixed height. Let's just switch back to desktop mode. Let's shrink this back down. Now we've seen that code. I'm going to go into design and sizing, and let's give it a max height. Let's say 600 pixels, something like that. Just put in the 600, it'll put in the pixels. Then I'm going to go over to the advanced, and I'm going to change the overflow so nothing falls out of this column. So if there's anything below, you're not going to see it. So in the advanced, invisibility, horizontal overflow, I'm going to change that to hidden. Vertical overflow, I'm going to change that to hidden also. Great. And the other thing, we wanted to scoot it up by about 100 pixels. So let's go back to the design, spacing. To scoot it up, I'm going to use a bit of a negative margin. Now to do that, I'm going to flip it down to negative, or you can just type in -1. I'm going to say -150. We can always adjust it again afterwards. That you see that's popped up here because it's under our little menu there, but that's fine. We can adjust this in a minute. Let's see what we've actually got on the front end. Again, I'm going to save the changes. And let's exit the visual builder. And there's our little animation. That's actually pretty much in the right spot. We took it up by 150 pixels. There's the actual column background, that blue background in there. If you wanted to, you could take that away and just have the animation. I quite like that blue. It seems to work with everything else. We slowed it down to about halfway there. We've got our call to action here, which is great. We've got our little appealing text here. So according to our little list from ChatGPT, we've got our clear and concise headline, engaging visuals, we've got a call to action, nav menus up there. Minimalist, we haven't really gone to town. Like I say, if you want to go for speed, don't put the big picture in the background and change the animation for a static image of relatively small size. Branding elements, I've got my logo there. Responsive design, we check that, and we'll take another look at that in a minute. Social proof, we got our social media, and we got our little tagline, persuasive copy there. So there's how to build a little hero section according to ChatGPT, and actually it makes a lot of sense. Let's have a look on responsive devices. So I'm using Google Chrome here. If I hit F12, there it is on a mobile phone. That is an iPhone 12. That's actually okay. I could make that text smaller so it stays in one line. We've got everything centered here. Our social media icons are working. Need to center that one on mobile, obviously. Buttons fine. And our animation's cut off, but because we've hidden the overflow, that's fine. We've still got a nice little animation over there. If you wanted to, you could write a bit of code or something to bring it all the way across, but I haven't got a problem with that at all. Let's have a little look on an iPad. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that to be up there. Our little animation's working fine. And back on desktop, if I close this out, we're back to our regular hero section. So there you go, guys. There's how to build a hero section according to ChatGPT. And if you're not using it, you should do. It's great fun for all kind of things. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.